Last we saw Kelleran back in The Mandalorian, he was escaping. So do you know what's next for him, or if you have any plans to put the robe back on?
I mean, I'm always ready to put the robe back on. I know where he went in my head.
Yeah.
So hopefully, we can make that real one of these days.
Waiting on that call.
Yeah, I'm just waiting. That was just so much fun to do. I grew up as a martial artist. I grew up as a Jedi fan. I was one of the few who was Team Jedi and not Team Sith. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times the Jedi message kind of gets lost in the spectacle, and I think it's a very important message to stay grounded in. And as far as the martial arts stuff, that was 1/10 of 1% of what I could do. So to be able to do, a full length of that would be a dream come true.
Right. Now, there's also, I feel it, I don't know if you feel it, but I feel like there's this groundswell for a Jar Jar renaissance.
Yeah.
Don't you feel it?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty incredible to me, But I think a lot of it is because all of the kids who love Jar Jar are now adults, and now they have kids. Yeah. So Jar Jar was a lot of people's entry into Star Wars universe, and those folks who grew up with Jar Jar, that's their Star Wars, just A New Hope, Empire, and Jedi were my Star Wars. So it kind of is natural that there is this new renaissance. And to be honest, George saw this coming. Yeah. He was very much a futurist. So he knew that 20 years later it was gonna turn out like this.
It's very reminiscent of the Ewoks even. Well, it's just like my Star Wars.
Yeah, absolutely. At the time, the Ewoks were not very likable because they were cute. But now, I love the Ewoks. I never even knew that there was a problem with the Ewoks. But very much so. Things transform.
Well, last question for you, but out of the two, which one would you most want to reprise given the chance?
Out of Jar Jar and Kelleran?
Yep.
Kelleran for sure. Yeah, I think there's a lot of Jedi story to be told. Kelleran was... there have been a lot of reluctant teachers as Jedi in Star Wars, right? When we met Yoda for the first time, he didn't want to teach Luke Skywalker. And when we meet Anakin for the first time, Yoda and Mace Windu and Obi-Wan Kenobi are just don't teach this kid. Kelleran Beck wants to be a teacher. That's the calling. And even though Kelleran is one of the baddest Jedis to ever put the robes on, his passion is to, raise Jedis. So I would love to see that idea that teachers are superheroes, and to really talk about what that means as far as being a Jedi goes, and as far as training the new Jedi coming up.
Well, first off, this is my first celebration, so this has been insanely exciting.
Gosh, I know. It's incredible. The fans are just... There's no fan like a Star Wars fan. That's what I keep saying, because they are so passionate. They've got this sense of community, and they really inspire us to do our best work.
Now, Industrial Light and Magic has pushed the boundaries for decades. So what would you say, if you could sum up what the next frontier looks like for you guys?
Very, very hard to tell, especially at this really transformative time. I think what we've done intentionally at ILM is to diversify our offerings. Light and Magic 2 really tells the story of a specific period of time in the 90s when we were doing visual effects for feature films only. And really we were doing 5 projects at a time. Now we're doing 40. We had one studio with a couple hundred artists. We now have 3,500 people around the globe working for ILM. And so we're working on feature films, feature animation, immersive entertainment, interactive projects, episodic, anything that has a great story to tell, we want to be a part of. So it's hard to say where the future is going to go, but I feel like we're really positioned well.
Now, if you could preserve one VFX model or a set from Star Wars in a museum forever, what would be your choice?
Well, I'm fortunate enough to work at the headquarters where it is a little bit like a museum. And one of the things that our passionate art employees asked about was to build a little mini cantina using real props from the Star Wars films, which they, on their own time, incorporated into this room and hand painted all of the greebly bits and the little weathering, and we had Sky Sound create a soundtrack to it, so when you go in it feels like you're flying. And so to me, I feel so fortunate that I'm able to have that in my place of work.
Now, just for fun, if you had force powers, what would be the laziest thing you'd use them for?
Oh gosh, I guess cleaning the house. I've got 4 kids, and 3 dogs, so if I could just do that and have it all,
Right under a rug.
Done and done.
When you watch scenes that you helped bring to life decades ago, what's something you might not notice, or what's something that you notice now that others might not?
When I watch my younger self in the documentary.
Not just your younger self, but just scenes you brought to life.
Oh, look, honestly, a lot of it's still living pretty vividly in my mind. It was in a remarkable time and an opportunity to be working closely with John and George Lucas and so many others. So, in terms of what I think of, it was more about reliving the memories and having them zap to the front of my memory rather than being in the little storage areas on the sides of my brain. And I'm really happy that the audiences now can see about the huge amount of work that we did on those films.
Now, John, you've contributed to Star Wars in both VFX and story. So which one sort of scratches the itch more creatively for you?
Oh, I had fun on Rogue One, but I did multiple roles on that. So my contributions to story were great fun, and it was really wonderful to see something like that start to take shape. But I also really enjoyed the visual effects on it as well. I had a great team on it and very pleased with the work, and that is my comfort zone.
Now, just for fun, if you guys each had force powers, what's the laziest thing you'd use them for?
That's a good question.
Opening the fridge to get a beer?
I do the mind tricks just to get people to agree with me in arguments.